In this video, I am going to quilt this quilt. In my last two videos, I have shown you how to create a quilt sandwich, as well as how to create this crib quilt. Okay, so the design that I'm going to create on my block is going to look like this. So I'm going to start on the left, and I'm going to go around and then back down again, like so. And I'm going to finish back on the right of the square. Now, there was a couple of ways that I could have done this. I could have literally taken 4 squares and make a big square design out of it, or I can take one small square and do each small square. And I know I'm going to regret doing this, but I am going to do a small square because I know I have an odd number and I'm not going to be able to do 4 whole squares. Now I'm going to take this as my center block. So I'm going to start with this one here. Now I am going to take it a bit more easier on myself, and I'm going to use a ruler that's designed for a mid-arm and a long arm. Okay, I want to start my needle in the ditch here, right in the corner. So I'm going to press my needle up and down, and I'm going to draw that bobbin up. I'm having to re-record this bit as my video went funny. So you want to place your needle in down position and raise it back up again. This draws up the bobbin thread. Now what you do is grab that top thread and you're going to floss it underneath, and that is how you get both the threads up. So I have the bobbin thread and the top thread. I'm going to line my ruler up here, and it's just going to help me keep a straight line. And all I'm going to do at first is stitch along the ditch. Sorry, I find it difficult to do this and talk at the same time. Here we go. Now I'm going to go and stitch along the ditch, along this top section here. Now it's a good idea, just take it in small turns and then move your fingers about. You're going to have to apply a little bit of pressure onto your ruler. There we go. And I'm going to come down. Okay, I've left a bit of a space at the bottom here, and it's about 3/4 of an inch, because now I am going to start working my way across. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of a voice narration over the top of my video here, because I'm watching this back and I'm going quite slowly because obviously I've just finished this quilt now, and at the start I was going very, very slow, but once I got to the middle and towards the end, I got super duper fast. So what I am showing you here is, so I'm working my way around the square using the ruler, and I found it easier to position my ruler as I am going around the square. You're going to find it really easier to keep repositioning your fingers, your hands, your ruler, even your quilt. I found I had to like move my quilt sometimes because it would get stuck on my knees and stuff, and I wouldn't be able to push it up. And you'll see in parts of this video where I'm kind of like fighting with it a little bit. It's because I I really just did this video on the very first square, and this is the first time I've ever used the mid arm, and I want to show you guys my beginning stages as well as my end stages. I think it's great to see people when they first start out. So as you can see here, I have done the square going all the way round right into the center. Now I have left a space in between the lines because I want to get back out again, because you start on the left and you finish on the right. So here you see me, I am now echoing around this square. So I'm repositioning the ruler and just move it. I should have really like taken that safety pin out that's obviously causing me a little bit of hassle. So I'm just like moving things. Yeah, I needed to move my hand. I cottoned on there. No, I still needed to move my hands, but I did work these things out, and that's why I just jumped a little bit there. You kind of want to have your hands next to each other. So let's keep going, Cassie. And I'm just going to go up here. So I'm literally just echoing my previous lines. And you can see, like, I was getting a little bit speedy there. And we're just going to come out, and you can see how I'm kind of jumping, and that's because I don't have my hands next to each other. That's where them issues were coming, and I'm fighting with the quilt again, and there was really no need to. I now know what caused that. So I'm going to go down, and then this is my final bit here. I'm going to come out the other end. See, and this is because my hands weren't next to each other, and there I kind of jumped. Did you see that? And I'm just coming to the end. And this is what the finished block is going to look like. And as you can see, I did accidentally jump slightly, but don't lose sleep over it. On the grand scheme of things, you're not going to be able to notice this once the whole quilt is quilted. So as you can see here, I didn't quite finish on a corner. So I'm going to have to travel back down, and then I will continue on with this particular block. So I'm going to put you on to the right hand side of me, and I will show you how to do this once again. So I'm going to narrate this one more time, and I'm just telling you here that the safety pin, just remove it, because obviously you don't want to ride over it, and it's going to get in your way anyway. So I'm just going to go back down just to close that square up, and then I am going to continue on and quilt up. The one thing that I do love about this ruler rather than just using a straight one is that as I was using it over the time of the quilt, I was able to use that kind of like curved edge in order to kind of like grip onto. I actually found that using the ruler on the corner section, like the square section, like over to the right hand side where my pinky finger is there, it was a lot more easier to quilt using just that section. And I literally I'd stopped using like the whole lot of the ruler, because if you look there, I don't really have much like weight on the ruler kind of thing. It's easier to just quilt it going a little bit each time. If you see that, I kind of go a little bit better. And then towards the end of the ruler there, if you go all the way to the end of it, like it gets just a bit thin and there's not as much weight on it overall. So here I'm just telling you that just leave that space at the end there in order to get out. So we are going to quilt around our square once again. So this again, I'm struggling because I don't have my fingers in the correct positions. So I'm making it look like I'm fighting with my quilt, and I really don't have to, even though, like I said before, I do have some cheap batting inside of here, and I think that did affect some of the quality of the quilting, if I'm honest. So wherever you can, always try to use a more expensive batting for the inside of your quilt. So I am just going around this square. As you'll notice, I didn't draw any lines on this quilt or anything. I eyeballed it. I don't like things to be too manufactured looking. I do like it to look like it has been done by a person, not been done by a machine. So fighting again with the quilt. Come on, Cassie, if you would have moved your hands, it would have been easier. But like I said, this was my first 2 squares, and after doing, like, I don't know how many, what did I say, like 65 squares that I've got on total? I can't remember. But after I quilted all them, I found out some of the tips and tricks that I'll share with you guys towards the end of this video. So stick around and I will share my tips and tricks with you for quilting on a mid-arm. So here you see I am just echoing back out, going up, and as you can see I am moving the ruler around, and then over time I started turning it like upside down in like different directions. Don't get stuck just doing the one thing, because there might be an easier way if you just move things about. So I'm on my home run. I will admit I did get kind of bored doing this quilting pattern. Doing one design like over and over again is really quite boring. So I'm just coming back out here, just echoing my way out. What do you think of this design, guys? Let me know in them comments down below, hey? Love your guys' comments. So we're just coming out here. There we go. Again, it was a little bit wonky, like here I'm not super keen on, but practice makes perfect, and I have plenty of these squares to go along with. So as I get a lot more comfortable using this ruler and doing this particular design, I will come back and let you know any tips and tricks that I have found out along the way. Hi guys, I now have the completed quilt, and as you can see I'm in different clothes because I haven't done this all in one day. I did it in the course of a few days because it was quite small and quite intricate. So let me go and take this outside into my back lawn to show you what it looks like, and I'll give you some of my tips that I found out as I was quilting it. And here she is. Doesn't she look mighty, mighty pretty? Now it's hard to find all of them errors when you look at the grand scheme of things. How many squares? I really, really love the binding I did on this quilt. It just looks amazing. I'm super impressed and pleased with it. I'm going to have to admit it, I really love quilting on the mid-arm. So because I did most of this work using a ruler, I noticed that taking small movements and moving the ruler all the time really helped. So don't try and do it all in one go. Try and do it in little increments. Another thing I noticed as well, I tend to go really quickly with stuff that I want to just get done, and really go slowly until you get enough confidence up to continue, because sometimes you might like jump or slip the ruler. It happened to me a few times. Now, as I said before, I didn't do this all in one go. I did it over 3 days. So just take your time with it. Enjoy the process. Another thing that I noticed that you just keep moving your hands about, keep switching your hands, keep moving the quilt about. It just makes it so much easier. I found it was easier to quilt the square shapes in one direction in like 5 of the stages, and then I turned it around from the center and worked to the other side by moving the quilt to the other side and then being able to do it, like carry it on. I found it hard trying to change direction to the other way, so by changing the quilt around, it actually made it easier for me. Another thing I noticed was changing the position of the ruler. So I turned it upside down and then turned it right sides up. Mine was like a triangle. It wasn't like a straight lined ruler. So if you've got something with like a triangle on it, try moving it in different directions. You may find it easier working one way and then doing it another way. Just experiment. Another thing that I cannot stress enough, just practice. Trust me. I think they say it takes about 10,000 hours to learn something new. So practice, practice, practice. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video on free motion quilting using the Tiara 3, the Baby Lock Tiara 3. It's really quite enjoyable. I really did enjoy it. I enjoy it so much more than using my actual sewing machine, obviously because it's got a bigger throat and then you can like move the quilt around so much easier. I found that I don't have bad shoulders or a bad back using my mid-arm, so that's another thing to bear in mind. And don't forget, I upload videos every single Wednesday, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss seeing me next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!